Next one, related to syndication networks. I realize this is all automated, but I have a lot of sites that don't pull in the feeds very cleanly. A lot of jumbled mess on most. Is this part of it, or are there ways to improve the looks of it? No, it's very difficult. That's part of the reason why I don't like to use multi-tiered networks for blog syndication, because you do have to find related content feeds to minimize your footprint, right? You cannot eliminate your footprint with blog syndication. Look, there is no footprint. Well, there is a footprint when you're syndicating to your own branded network, but it's an okay footprint. It's perfectly acceptable, right? It's actually expected, because most companies, when they publish content, they republish it on all of their branded properties, right? They link to it, they share it, so it's absolutely normal to do that. What's not normal is when you have secondary, second tier and even third tier networks, or even other first tier networks that are also resyndicating the content, because that's unnatural and that's clearly being done to manipulate search positioning, right? And that leaves a footprint, and Google doesn't like that. It's fine to do that with YouTube, guys, but it's not fine to do that with your blog. So there is a way to minimize to reduce your footprint. And that's by injecting related content feeds into the other syndication networks, primarily the second and third tier. I don't recommend having other first tier networks anyways. So my point is, that's part of the reason I don't like using them. One, it's complicated to set up. Two, a lot of things can break down because you're relying on RSS feeds from outside or third-party sources and you don't have any control over maintaining those feeds or the formatting of those feeds, right? You have very little control over that. There are some tools out there that can help you to format them better and splice feeds together, like RSS Masher, which is by Damon Nelson. That's a good tool for prettying up feeds and splicing feeds and all that kind of stuff. But again, like I said, I don't recommend it because it's a pain in the ass. And using third-party feeds, guys, there's a lot of things that can occur. You don't have any control over the formatting. You don't have any control over the frequency that they publish, right? You don't have any control over the content that they publish. You are just assuming that everything that they're going to be publishing is going to be relevant. So unless you're using a feed splicing tool or application, kind of like RSS Masher, where you can set filters, you can set some of the formatting options and things like that, you really are limited. Okay. So but at least if you're just syndicating to your own branded network, right, you have control over that because you're syndicating from your blog, that you have control over the formatting, the styling, and all of that, right? And so you can control that, or at least some level of control. But when you're using third-party feeds from other sites for adding additional content, there's not much you can do about it.